this is Jamo and the boys. We got Bordeaux, Dom, and Jamo here.
We are going to be covering the Beatitudes, love your enemies, and salt and light.
And these are found in Matthew 10. So it starts off with Jesus talking to the apostles and telling them their mission and that the kingdom of God is coming near.
The Beatitudes are like short phrases that Jesus used to help teach the people how to act. Some examples are, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." And that's just 3 of the 8.
So Jesus gives this speech in the speech called the Sermon on the Mount, and then this is also in Luke's gospel. It's called the Sermon on the Plain. The sermon challenges Israel to find Jesus' teaching in the authentic interpretation of God's will, which will then eventually be revealed in the Torah. And it parallels the difference between Jesus and Moses.
All right. Salt and light. The temple or the Torah or Jerusalem is no longer the salt or the light of the world, but the churches. Salt of the earth. They are to reason and preserve the world with peace and gracious speech. What both of them mean, or both of them do have links to the Old Testament. Salt is like the covenant to priesthood made with Aaron, and the covenant made with David and his descendants. The light is the vocation of Israel to make the truth and the justice of God shine to all nations.
Our last topic is love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Jesus referenced the Old Testament a lot because he was preaching to Jews. In this, the love your enemies, it was a reference to Leviticus 19, verse 18. And love your enemies and persecute those or pray for those who persecute you are the 2 greatest commandments, and Jesus taught us this. But the Jews thought Jesus Christ meant only other Israelites, but he told them that the term neighbor meant all people.
Shifting back to the Beatitudes, one of the main things it says in the Bible is that Jesus gives the teaching. He does not receive it as Moses did. It's like, as Moses received it, from God with the burning bush, and then he was given his mission, like Jesus gives the teaching, and he preaches to other people, like, what they need to follow.
One thing is about the beam in the eye, and how you should not judge people, because, like, you may be judging people, but you might not see the full story, because you might have something, like Jesus said, you might have a beam in your eye when you're trying to pull out something from somebody else's eye. So you have to judge yourself before you judge other people. And also, you should always help people to the fullest, but you have to help yourself first. Because if you're not your healthiest, you might not be able to help them to your best abilities.
All right. So I have a little question here. Why do you think the difference between, like, the Sermon on the Mount, or why do you think Matthew and Luke use different, like, phrases? Like, Matthew calls it the Sermon on the Mount, and Luke calls it the Sermon on the Plain. Like, why do you think there's a difference there?
Well, I think because they had different interpretations, because there was a lot of oral tradition between when they wrote the Gospels and when the things actually happened, so they could have heard different stories and called it different things.
Jamo, you got anything?
For what? The beam in the...
Also, some more examples of the Beatitudes while we run out of time is blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. So that means you want to help others, so others will help you. Blessed are the clean heart, for they will see God. That means that if you are good and like kind to others, that you will go to the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. You don't want to resort to violence for anything, and God will help you out. And then the last one is blessed are those who are blessed are they who are persecuted
For righteousness' sake.
for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. It just means that, like, for example, the martyrs, they were persecuted for being Catholic. Now they're like famous and like very holy.
And then like another thing to remember when Jesus is giving these sermons, as they call it, like he's speaking to Jews mainly and like fully Jewish audiences, and he's trying to refer these things back to the Old Testament.
That's the end.
Thanks for listening.
How long?